Good afternoon. It's Matt from Walx Preston. There are we? There we are. Walx Preston. So today we're going to talk about the power of the poles, and what I'd like to do is answer some of your questions. And I think that the first question we're going to go to is really important. The question was, will it help my back pain? So doing a little bit of research on the internet, you don't have to do much of a search on Google to find out that almost half of the adult population in the UK suffers from back pain. How many adults are in the UK? Well, population of about 60 million, probably about 30 million adults, half of those 15 million. That's a lot of people, whether those numbers are just ballpark figures, but still a lot of people are challenged with low back pain and generalized back pain, sort of different places across the back. So I think that's a really key question for somebody to ask, and not to have to cover it in terms of explain the way out of it. But what I want to talk about really is the real awareness and understanding about why we have that back pain. And what's really important to understand is where it stems from, potentially. And again, there could be multiple scenarios and risk factors to different types of back pain. So we're not trying to sort of fully qualify and quantify this and say the poles and Nordic walking is something that will fix any and all back pain. But what we're trying to sort of say is that poor posture and lack of movement are significant contributing factors over the long term that will lead to stiffness and tightness, and that lead to back pain. And the way that we hold ourselves, the way that we sit, the way that we move around, particularly in the modern era right now with mobile technology, definitely with the scenario of lockdown that we've had throughout the year since March, that scenario of being forced into working from home. And the interesting thing is how people have got familiar with working from home, and probably some of them like that. But many people, in actual fact, are struggling with working from home because of the fact that they don't get out of their own home. They're stuck in their own home, and they are sat at, for example, like me right now, at the kitchen table, and probably not in an ergonomically designed position and chair, and not having the computer set up at the right height. You know, you have those DSE checks at work, and there are justifications and reasons for having those in the workplace, and longer term exposure to sitting in a poor posture is going to detrimentally affect you and your neck and your back. And we are this perfect machine. We are this bones and ligaments and muscles and nerves and blood and lymph and all these different things in our physical body, the representation of us. But if we don't look after that, then we can come a cropper. We can have back pain, but we can also have many other knock-on health issues. So will walking with the poles help my back pain? I would like to suggest that in a very high percentage of cases, yes, it will. And again, there may be some specific cases where it may not be the best thing to go to first. But again, when we're talking about 15 million people potentially having back pain, then it's more than likely, if you're having twinges and you've not got a very serious, acute, chronic back problem that you are seeing the doctors and specialists for, then learning how to adapt your posture, how to get more active, become more active, and become more active in a dynamic fashion that allows you to elevate your heart rate, to stand up tall with good posture, holding your body in a nice, neutral and relaxed way, and removing or learning the techniques to remove tension that we can hold in our body, and tension that can come about from muscles that are too tight or maybe too loose. And again, just the action of sitting down for too long, and the typical example is long commutes in the car, then moving into an office space where you've got a very short distance from the car into the office, so you're not even parking a mile or two away, and actually regulating that postural dysfunction that's arisen from sitting tight in a car seat for a long commute to the office. a very short transition, few steps, and you're back in the office and you're back sat down again. So all those different things then will return that tenseness and tightness in the body, and that can lead to pulling you and your body, your muscles and your bones around the body in a way that leads to that tension and tightness and stiffness and pain, and that can also exacerbate into fatigue, and that can lead to poor sleeping habits, and then that can be a rolling on knock-on problem. So let's just reflect on that. So we're not taught about good posture. We're not taught really about how to move really well for health as we're growing up. You know, we don't go to classes about posture and movement. You know, we might in primary school, you know, have that PE lesson, and again, different people will react to that differently. Some people are quite sporty, but many other people, and I'd probably say the majority of people, are not so sporty and really kind of don't want to do that PE. And there may be back reasons for that, but again, you might just be not into the competitive side of sports and the general conventional activities that are within PE classes, or that were historically in PE classes, because we're talking about people who are not kids right now. Predominantly we're talking about, that's a whole different ball game. Kids right now growing up, they're going to have a massive problem in the next 20, 30 years as they grow up. They've grown up with technology and sat down, and maybe even less activity. This is going to be a major problem in the next 30 years. But right now it's a problem for us. Me at 46, you, whatever age you are, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 50s, you have grown up 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago in school and had your PE lessons. You maybe interacted with that or not. And you definitely will not, because I don't remember having any lessons about posture and about specifically about how to move really well to regulate ourselves on a regular daily basis to get away from the likes of back pain. So we're in school, we might do PE, we might not, we get on with life, we grow up, we get to sort of 18, do we go to university or do we get a job, and we get on with life. And at that point, we probably may have kids, but we also have a job, and that job takes on its own responsibility. You want to get up the career ladder, so you start working harder. And again, that's trying to show your best self within the workplace and work harder and more intently to get yourself noticed, and you work longer hours. And that will reflect in more sitting down behind a computer screen, or if you have a job that requires some going to meetings, going to driving around the country, salesman, whatever it might be, you'll be sat behind your steering wheel for longer hours, and you'll push yourself to get up early, to drive across the other side of the country, to then have back-to-back meetings, whatever it is, then drive back. Those are long days, demanding days. And if we're not nourishing ourselves, nurturing ourselves, and starting to learn how to counteract the issues that arise from that way of living, that lifestyle, that push and grind, that sitting down all the time, that is going to reflect in stiffness, tightness, dehydration, and the first niggling signs of pain. So then we get married, have kids, and even if we were active, possibly playing football, possibly playing badminton, maybe going swimming, doing different activities, looking after ourselves to a certain degree that we picked up from sporting activities when we were younger, just an interest in ballet or dance or whatever it might be, all different activities that we could have been interested in. As we have those that marriage and those kids, we start to go into a phase of increased responsibility for looking after the kids, working harder to make more money, because the money is needed to put the food on the table for the kids and send the kids to nursery, for example. Then again, we start to push the time away from us, and we give ourselves to other people, and there's less time spent on us, less time spent going out to do those activities. So we're becoming increasingly sedentary, less active, and again, that's going to have that knock-on effect on our health and our well-being and our posture and on our likelihood to have that back pain. So it is no wonder that we have half the adult population with back pain, and what can we do about that at whatever age you are right now? And the simplest thing is just to start taking baby steps. Yeah, if you're not active, then let's get active. And the easiest way to get active is just to do some walking. We've got the 2 feet. We are humans. That is our mode of transportation as human beings, irrespective of cars, trains, planes, whatever it might be. We have our feet, and we can move on our feet, and we can start to increase the distance that we move on our feet. But if we hold ourselves upright, we're not leaning forward, rounded shoulders, tensing our mind, tensing our body, all closed up, locked up, we can start to breathe. We can open our chest, we can relax the shoulders, we can breathe in, we can go for a walk. And even though it's raining today, we can put a jacket on. We can still go out in the rain, in the winter, and get some fresh air in our lungs and start to move our body. But the movement of the body is going to start moving the media around the body. That's the lymphatic system, the lymph, the blood that's going to flow around the body. And as we move and we walk for a certain distance, then that's going to bring up the endorphins. We're going to start feeling a little bit better about doing that movement. So you need to gauge where you are right now. What is your level of movement? And if it's nothing, if it's sat on the couch, then let's get you started. Just get yourself out there, put your shoes on, trainers. You don't have to buy anything in particular, any special type of boots or footwear. You don't need any special type of layered clothing or waterproof jackets or whatever else. Whatever you've got, get started there. So we're moving on from that point. If you can get yourself out walking, and again, at Walx Preston, we have a really fantastic group. You don't need to walk with the poles if you're in our group. We are Walx because we provide a guided and safe and secure system for you to get involved with us, where effectively you just register with the system, you add some personal details. It's free of charge to do that. You answer a few questions about your health so that we know what your state of health is. You register that with us. We're familiar with you. We have a conversation. We bring you into our community where there are lots of people who are looking after their own health and well-being by walking, whether with poles or without poles. And as you start to meet those people, you will make friends. This is an ongoing process. We've been doing this for about the last 6 years. And so there are people who've been with us for 6 years, people 5 years, people 4 years, and people who've been with us for a few weeks. But everyone comes in and is welcomed. It's a very diverse group of ages and abilities, a very welcoming group. People are wanting to cheer you on from the start, no matter where you are, whether you're coming from injury, coming from the couch, you're down and depressed for whatever reason, because it's the time of year. And again, it's a little bit darker in the room today because it has been cloudy and rainy and it's December already. So it doesn't matter whether it's you're not feeling so well because of injury, pain, back pain, lack of movement, just down in the dumps, mood. And that could be from it could be from being not outdoors for a long period of time, not doing that movement in the outdoor space, not getting the vitamin D down into your skin from the outdoor space, not seeing the sunshine because you're stuck indoors. And because you're stuck indoors, because of possibly your choice or your necessity to have to work in an indoor environment, driving, commuting, in the office. Sometimes those things aren't your fault. They are it's just the way life is. But we have to start making those decisions to say, stop, I'm experiencing this down mood. I'm experiencing this pain, these twinges, this severe back pain, this tightness, stiffness, whatever it might be. Can I choose to do something about it? Do I first go and see the doctor and ask them to give me a check over? Do I go and see a physiotherapist and get them to give me a check over? Do I rule out through seeing a physiotherapist whether there are any acute or problematic issues? Or do they tell me that in that analysis, when they give me some tests, they move my arms and my back and just give me a little check over, that they say, well, in actual fact, you're experiencing pain. I understand that that's not so good for you. You don't like that. But what you could and need to do is get moving. And there's all sorts of different things, mobility exercises, stretching exercises. just getting out walking. So a lot of people in the last 6 years have been coming into the sessions with myself on what used to be previously called the Learn to Nordic Walk course, what's now called the Power of the Poles course. People haven't had this video, this conversation with me beforehand. They've just come along and said, you know, I've read about it, sounds good, I'm experiencing pain, X, Y, and Z, whatever it might be. I'm not moving so much. I recognize I'm sat behind a computer screen. I'm not liking the fact that I'm doing that. I'm alone and I want to meet some people, and they come along and they give it a go. And I recognize very quickly from the way that they hold themselves, the way that they talk, and the way that their body moves in those sessions, lots of things that are going on. Yeah, and it's not about pinpointing that straight away and saying, oh, you've got this problem and you need to do this, that, and the other. It's about, let's just relax into this. Let's come and meet some people, feel safe and secure. Let's gain some confidence. Let's get out, move more regularly. Let's use the fact that we have a system, we have a community, we have regular weekly walks. Let's find those spaces in the time in your weekly schedule where you can get onto some of those sessions and book yourself in. Come along to those sessions, come meet some people, come out walking. Feel good about the fact that the walk is organised for you. Feel safe in the fact that you're going to meet some people when you've booked on and you turn up at the location where the walk is starting from. That means you don't have to walk by yourself. It means that you don't have to be fearful of walking in the daytime in a park where you're not sure whether you're going to get, you might have this feeling that you might get attacked, and maybe more so in the dark at night. And again, we are creating this safe space, this group, this ability to book on and get those opportunities to build into your weekly schedule, that opportunity for more regular movement. So let's move on to this Power of the Poles session. It's a 90-minute session. It's not 90 minutes of walking. So you don't have to say, I couldn't do 90 minutes of walking. It's not 90 minutes of walking. It's a 90-minute session that is very structured and controlled, and it's guided by, in our particular instance, in Walx Preston, by me, but there are many other colleagues of mine across the country who deliver this very same structured program that allows you to spend a bit of time with a professional who is going to help and guide you to feel comfortable and confident, improving your posture and improving your understanding and awareness about your body, and your understanding and awareness about how you are interacting with movement and your daily life and your life and your lifestyle. And what we are always trying to encourage you is just to break down any perceptions in your mind about you can and can't do certain things. We are a believer that you can do anything. And we have many people testament to this, people who've had knee replacements, hip replacements, fusions in their back, chronic back and neck problems, all different manner of health ills, from a physical perspective, from a mental perspective, loss in confidence, loss in self-esteem, based on the fact that they've had an injury that's led to lack of movement, that's led to being indoors, that's led to a down and out mood. We're starting to build that back up. So you come out and you learn techniques and abilities to get yourself back out there and feeling good about yourself, and recognizing and feeling the benefits of doing more regular walking. So most of our sessions are about an hour long, the regular walks, but this Power of the Poles session is 90 minutes. In the 90-minute session, what we're going to do is we're going to take you through learning how to stand up tall. Yeah, so we're returning away from what I find very often is people are looking down at the ground. Yeah, people are tilting their head forward, they're looking down, and that is associated with overthinking things. So if you're a bit of an overthinker, maybe just check, when I go walking, am I looking down at the ground? And maybe you are, and maybe the fact that you have a heavy head on top of your spine, it's leaning forward, that's pulling on the muscles on the back of the neck, and that's creating that sort of tension and tightness in the back of the neck, and that might then translate down your back and give you some mid-back and lower back tension and pain issues. Yeah, and it might be corroborated and compounded by sitting down in a chair behind a computer screen, possibly with a not so good DSE setup, and you're maybe leaning forward over your computer. You may be working too many hours and you're sat behind trying to get all those emails done, and then you get another email and it really pisses you off, and that makes you angry and tense, and you're holding that tension in your shoulders, in your neck, and you sat down, and the fact that you sat down on your bum cheeks for hours on end, that creates that stiffness and tightness in your bum, but it also loosens off some muscles and tightens other muscles, but it creates that imbalance in your body. So when you do get up, then you don't feel so good. You'd notice that twinge in your back. You might kind of stoop and wander around, not feel so good about yourself. But other people may in actual fact go and recognize that they are sat down for 8 hours and go straight into an activity that's too demanding. I'm going to go straight to the gym and I'm going to do lift all these weights, whatever it might be. But if your foundation is weak, is not stable, is not balanced, what you might find is that you go and exacerbate that problem by doing strength-based activities on the foundation that is weak and unstable. And I'm all for going to the gym. Any form of activity, I'm all for that. Movement is the fundamental necessity for the human body. It's your birthright. It's the ability to regulate your physicality, your emotions, your experience in life. Movement is a necessity. So if you find something that you love, whether that's dance, whether that's swimming, whether that's lifting weights, that's fantastic, but it's always about doing that from a stable and solid foundation. So it might be in actual fact a good thing for you if you're working hard, sat down a lot, to do a little bit of walking before you go and do some other activity, which is a bit more demanding on your physical body, the muscles in the body, like lifting weights. So this course, The Power of the Poles, it's 90 minutes, and what we're doing is we're teaching you good posture, teaching you how to relax and loosen off certain muscles in the body, be free to move your upper body, your shoulders. You've got poles in your hand, we've got special poles, strapless poles, and we teach through the action of the use of the poles to stand up tall, to prompt yourself to be upright, to be nice and engaged in the core, relaxed and loosed off in the shoulders, swinging your arms from the shoulders, long straight arms, pushing through the poles, through the core ledge, the special poles that we have, into the ground. That prompts you to be upright. You're looking forward and you are pushing the ground away. You're pushing yourself forward. That's propelling yourself forward. It's getting a good movement through the feet, a nice heel to toe rocking motion, nice relaxed movement through the hips of the legs, toning your tummy at the same time by use of the poles. And you are also, with the action of the arm swing and a slight rotation around the spine, you're toning the muscles up the back. So we're teaching this technique with the poles to provide you with a full body activation. You are toning muscles across the body, you're mobilizing joints across the body, and in that process you are elevating your posture and you're toning yourself to maintain that good posture after the session. And the regularity then of learning the technique and then moving forward into regular activity, regular weekly sessions of using the poles. And again, if you like swimming, if you like the gym, if you like yoga, if you like Pilates, whatever it might be, just dancing, whatever activity, this can be a form of cross-training for you. Yeah. You could do a yoga session a week, a swim a week, a Nordic walking session a week, and then maybe a session of strength training in the gym, and then just a walk, a regular walk. Those multiple cross-training type activities sessions are going to give you a full body workout. But even if you weren't doing those other activities like in the gym, like with the swimming, etc., the use of the poles and the right technique is going to give you that full body activation, that full body movement, and you're going to be toning both the back of your arms, up the back of the spine, across the back, the tummy. And in actual fact, from a walk, the comparison between a walk and a walk with the poles with good technique is that you're going to burn about 43% more calories with the poles. So again, some people like to hear that aspect of burning more calories from a fat loss perspective, and just by being able to eat well, but maybe you like food and you want to eat a bit more, or you like to have a glass of wine every so often. You know, if you maintain that activity where you burn more calories, you're making that walk more effective, then, you know, that is better for you. So in that session, we're going to teach you how to go up and down hills. We're going to teach you how to not detrimentally impact on your knees. And a lot of people, I find, particularly sort of 45 plus, they've like going out to the Lake District, and they then say, I can't do that anymore. My knees are knackered, dodgy knees, can't do that. I'm going to teach you the confidence, the comfortableness to go down a slope in the right manner, using the poles to allow you to get down and feel elated at the fact that you've got up a hill and down a hill and your knees are safe. Again, people don't like going up hills, and when you go up hills, it can be hard work on the legs, and if you're not so fit, it can be hard work on your heart rate and your chest, your breathing, and you can get to the top of a hill and feel puffed out. Lots of people can test the testament from our members of, as they learn to use the technique of the poles, they walk with the poles on a regular basis, then that just dynamically improves their health and their well-being and their fitness and their endurance, and that leads them to be able to go out and enjoy more. They can go on longer walks and go to Lake District, feel fine and comfortable about going on a longer distance up higher inclines, and they have the fitness, the mobility, the balance, the endurance, the strength to go and do that and come back and not feel wasted. You know, if you're unfit and you're not ready for it, and you go and do your only activity is a day in the lakes once a weekend, you're probably going to come back and probably need to recover for a few days in the office because you've overexerted yourself. And so we're teaching you in the Power of the Poles and the ongoing walks how to manage yourself over the long term to regulate your weight, regulate your fitness, regulate your posture, your balance, your strength across the body, across the joints of the body, toning yourself up, making yourself more metabolically active, and that having the knock-on effect on your physical health, your fitness, your mood, your well-being. Okay, let's just read a couple of comments before we finish. Power of the Poles help my back problems, Jill. Excellent. Important advice. Movement is key. This initiative is great for connection too. Thanks for the motivation, Matt. I don't know who's written that, but thank you. I can attest to this. You're an inspiration to all who know you, Matt. Okay, thank you, Andrew. So it's not about me, it's about you. It's about the fact that I can help you. I can deliver the Power of the Poles course for you, with you, to support you. And if you join the course, and we have one coming up this Sunday, the 13th of December, then this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to learn something about yourself, learn something about your posture, learn something about stiffness and tightness that might be manifesting across the body, learn something about how to move more energetically, dynamically, better, for greater gains in terms of body tone and fitness regulation, and that lead to being more active on a more regular basis with our group, where you get to meet some fantastic people, our members. You know, it's hats off to our members. They are fantastic. They're supportive. They're motivating. They're encouraging. They're supportive of you. So come on, wherever you are, jump on the Power of the Poles, get on the course, register with Walx Preston. It's a free process to register. There is a nominal charge for the Power of the Poles course. There are costs associated with our regular walks. We're providing a very important and beneficial service. There are pay-as-you-go options. There's a monthly membership. It's £19 for the monthly membership. That gives you unlimited access to the walks across the month. And some people, they now walk 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. Yes, some of those people are retired, obviously have more time on their hands to be able to do that, but there are people who are working and they walk in an evening and a weekend, and they're walking regularly several times a week and across the month, and that is benefiting them physically, mentally, socially, and that's what we want for you. So thank you for listening in. It's been Matt. for Walx Preston, and this has been about the power of the poles and how we can support you move away from back pain, chronic pain, lack of movement, poor health, ill health. We can support you on your onward journey to make those changes, to feel empowered, to feel fit, to feel healthy, to feel toned, to feel connected with other people. Okay, thank you. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in another video soon.